I didn't know the Steelers had Kawhi Leonard at receiver this season. When did Kawhi Leonard switch over from basketball to football? I didn't know. I had no clue. For those of you that don't know, which I'm sure all of you do know, I'm talking about George Pickens, not Kawhi Leonard. George Pickens was, according to Mike Tomlin, on a snap counter, a snap management protocol last game. I don't know if it's been for the full season because uh, he was at 59% against the Cowboys. And then the week prior against the Colts, where he had 7 receptions for over 100 yards, he was at 86%. So was the snap management protocol at play against the Colts, or did we just start this week 5 against the Cowboys? I don't know. None of it adds up. I'm going to try to sift through this, though, because Tomlin talked about it yesterday in his weekly Tuesday press conference. He reacted to Pickens' snap count or lack thereof, and some of Pickens' recent behavior as well. Here's what he had to say. He says, I didn't have any outlying issue with his effort. And as we all saw, there were a couple times where Pickens wasn't really running his routes to the best of his ability, which hurts the team, which isn't good at all. Tomlin didn't really see an issue there, though. He also goes on and says, as I mentioned after the game, that's just a snap management thing and an effort to be more productive in today's game regarding analytics. We do it across a lot of positions, particularly when you look at the totality of a 17-game schedule. I'd imagine Cam Hayward, for example, is playing less snaps than he has, just trying to grow and trying to get optimum productivity among some individuals and going about the best means of doing so. And so that's probably a reflection of the snap totality of last week. Is anyone buying this? Because I'm not. This is just a perfect, this whole paragraph I just read was a perfect Tomlin word salad. Goes on, most players, particularly in today's game, that have specialized skill sets that play positions like receiver, they don't play every down. They're like rushmen, Tomlin said. They don't play every down because you need them in significant moments. You need them at the back half of the season. You need them in the second half of football games in those weighty downs. So it's really just a 2024 discussion regarding load management. When have we heard the term load management be associated with the game of football? Because this is literally the first time. Whether it's we're talking 2024, the first 5 weeks of this 2024 season, the 2024 offseason, going back to 2023, 2022, all the way back to the 70s. I have not heard the phrase load management or snap management in the same sentence with the NFL. That's a basketball thing. So when did all of a sudden load management or snap management become a thing in 2024? To even get more specific, in week 5 of 2024, because I hadn't even heard it up to this point. So if it's that much of a trend, I would have thought that I've heard about it being thrown around when it comes to football and trying to protect players and keep them fresh throughout the duration of a game or keep them fresh for the end of the season. I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that at all. So I don't buy what Tomlin's saying. I don't think anyone buys what he's saying here as to why Pickens' snap count was so low. It was historically low for his career. I think the lowest snap count up to this point, it was like 60%. It was 60-something percent his rookie year. So for him to be playing 59% of the snaps in year 3 when he's supposed to be hitting his prime coming off of an 1,100-yard season, and he's, our franchise receiver, supposed to be our franchise receiver, doesn't add up at all. Because I don't want to hear the Cam Hayward comparisons either. Like, oh, we do the same thing with Cam Hayward. Cam Hayward's 35 years old. It's not the same as Pickens getting less snaps or 59% of the snaps at 23 years old, and he's in his prime. And also, given the fact that the Steelers need playmaking desperately at the receiver position right now. I know it wasn't in the quotes that I brought up, but he also tried to use Landon Roberts and Peyton Wilson as another example of guys on the team that are currently undergoing the snap management protocol. But rotating your LB2 and LB3 based off their strengths and weaknesses isn't exactly a great comparison. That's just you're trying to put the best players out on the field for a given situation. A better example or a better comparison would have been s- sitting Patrick Queen 35% of the time, your bona fide linebacker one. That would be the better comparison to what's going on with Pickens, but we don't do that with Patrick Queen. I don't know, man. It's very weird. Very, very weird. Like, did Tomlin just find out about the benefits of load management this week? Because again, I hadn't heard about it up to this point at all. And how keeping your star player, star receiver, more specifically, off the field, keeping it is just listen to this. Keeping your star receiver off the field more actually will increase his production. That's a new one to me. Someone needs to call up the Vikings or the Bengals to get Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase on this protocol then, because they're missing out. They're missing out. If anyone deserves to have snap management or load management, it's a Justin Jefferson. Dude has dealt with some injuries in his career. He had an injury earlier this season, and we know how much work he gets. We know how much production he gets. How many targets he gets. Gets a lot of work. So if there's anyone that a team like the Vikings would need for the latter half of the season for the stretch run, it would be a Justin Jefferson. No, I just checked. He plays 90 to 95% of the snaps for them. So I don't want to hear this snap management thing, especially given how bad the Steelers are at receiver now outside of George Pickens. We need Pickens out there. So I don't know what exactly is going on behind the scenes with Tomlin and Pickens or what conversations they're having. And that's how Tomlin wants it to be. He doesn't want to be airing this stuff out in the media, and I don't blame him. But no matter how you look at this, it ain't right. Because either Pickens is actually off the field due to his lack of blocking and effort on run plays, or when we're in heavy personnel and he's not getting the ball, which means Pickens really ain't doing what it takes to be an all around wide receiver one or a franchise receiver. So that's not good. Or Tomlin is actually telling the truth about snap management with Pickens, which would mean our coaching staff is completely incompetent. So no matter what angle you want to look at this situation right now, it's not good. My guess is it's some sort of discipline from Tomlin towards Pickens for his behavior, and we know what I'm talking about here with the behavior. It's like the lazy route running, it's the body language, it's the attitude, and then it's the stuff you see after the game with him pulling the Cowboys dude's face mask because we lost. And then him wearing the eye black. Although Tomlin said he didn't know about the eye black. He just heard about it in Tuesday's press conference when a reporter brought it up to him, which I don't know if I buy that or not either. This can't continue, though, because it just hurts the team not having Pickens out there on a more frequent basis because he is our best receiver. But it also hurts the team and brings down the vibes when Pickens ain't giving it his all when he is out there. Something's got to give, and I don't think we're trading Pickens this week, so he'll be out there week 6 against the Raiders, and I think all eyes will be on 1-4 to see how he responds. But what's good with the people in the chat, man? Who's stopping through? What do you guys got to say? Uno Creation says, Sup, Deke, if snap management is what we doing, we still need a number one wide receiver. We can't have Scotty Miller out and no GP. Yeah, if we're gonna continue the snap management thing with GP, what's the point of having him here? We just got to trade him and get something in return, because it's doing no one justice. It's not doing the team justice. It's not doing Pickens justice to his talents. But like, if you're not gonna give it your all, like, what choice do we have? Like, we got to send a message. We can't be enabling this type of stuff.